What's up, everybody? John Eric Poli here with MyMMANews, back for another interview, and we have a great interview today, fresh off of a Bellator signing. It is Cody Law. Cody, congratulations on the signing. How are you doing, my man?
Thank you. I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. So, we'll get right into it here. What's it like for you, knowing that you're going to be with Bellator? What was it like when you got that phone call, knowing that you're going to officially be a Bellator fighter?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I just want to fight, and Bellator is going to give me the opportunity to get fights, and get paid well for it. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, man, it is. It's a great opportunity. And before we get into more of the Bellator stuff, which we will get into in a second, I wanted to kind of paint a background for everybody that may not be familiar with you. So let's back up actually all the way to high school. And the reason why I'm going there is I'm a Pennsylvania guy. I'm sitting in northeastern Pennsylvania right now. I'm okay with going on the record and making this statement. I think Pennsylvania might be the best wrestling state in the whole entire country. You were highly successful in the state in wrestling. So why don't you go ahead and explain your background in wrestling in the state of Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania. Actually, my freshman and sophomore year, I wasn't super successful. I was like 500 wrestler as a freshman. Sophomore year, I lost a match to qualify for states. And then the following year, I made it to the finals. I got second in states, and then my senior year, I won. And then I competed at Fargo and all those other tournaments as well. A couple All-Americans in each of those. So,
Would you say when you're talking with Pennsylvania wrestling too? I had a friend of mine in college. I went to Lock Haven. He was supposed to walk onto the wrestling team there. He had an elbow injury during his senior year. That's all besides the point. But he was saying how he never even qualified for states. He was very close. Then he went to some random tournament. I think it was a guy from Florida he may have wrestled. It was a state champ down there, and he pins him. Like, does that just tell you just how
yeah.
good the wrestling is here in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes, man. Like, state champion's a state champion, that's great. But state champion in Pennsylvania is like another level, I think.
And you got to obviously experience that, and you went on. You were very successful at Pitt Johnstown, but there's a pit stop in there at Penn State, and I want to just talk about that for a second because anyone that follows wrestling knows that Penn State with Cale Sanderson there, it is the best program in the nation right now. It has been for the last few years. What was it like for you having the opportunity to wrestle under Coach Sanderson and compete at Penn State at the best school?
Yeah, it was great. I learned a lot. Um, there's still a lot of things I take away from that today about being a competitor and mindset stuff and training and recovery. It was good. I like to be around winners and really motivated people. And of course, I was surrounded by the most successful, motivated people there for a couple of years. So it was a good time.
And then obviously, we know Pitt Johnstown's where you had the most success. So why don't you tell us just how you ended up at Pitt Johnstown and tell us a little bit about your time there because you were highly successful there and you obviously went on to win a national championship there as well.
Yeah, Pitt Johnstown is actually 2 or 3 miles away from my childhood home where I grew up. So when I transferred to Pitt Johnstown, I was basically just going home. So I lived at home and I attended Pitt Johnstown. And, I always tell people this, and I'm glad I get to say this, on the record. Like, Pitt Johnstown, going there is maybe the best decision I ever made in my life. Coach Bakura, like my real dad, he's changed my life, believed in me, cared about me as a person. And, it's not like I went there and was learning crazy technique or secrets to wrestling. I just was surrounded by good culture, people, people that cared about me. And I was home, so it worked out really well. I made some of my best friends there and got to reach my goals and be a national champion. So,
And that's a great story there, and I'm glad you got to experience that too. It's something about those small colleges. That's something that you felt at Penn
yeah,
State, that big atmosphere. Sometimes it's a little too much, but a school like Pitt Johnstown, because
yeah.
I could really go into Lock Haven, that small atmosphere kind of really sets in for you.
Yeah, I don't know if I was ready maturity-wise for that Penn State environment, whenever I was 18 years old. Maybe now, but the Pitt Johnstown environment was perfect for me.
And it's a good thing that you would be ready for something like that now because you're going to get a lot of big stages coming up here.
Yeah.
And just one last thing, before we get into these big things here with Bellator, I just wanted to ask you, being somebody that was a wrestler, what was it like making the transition into mixed martial arts? Or did you have a background? 'Cause I did see on your Instagram you had a lot of photos of doing some different like jiu-jitsu things or amateur boxing things. Did you have a background before you made the transition from wrestling into MMA?
Nope, all that stuff is post-college.
Oh, so that was
So I
real short.
only wrestled.
You say so it was real
Only
short.
wrestled my whole life. Yeah. Sorry.
No, you're okay. Yeah, so you wrestled your whole life, so you kind of had a a quick turnaround then as you transitioned into everything. So what was that process like of trying to learn the boxing, jujitsu, and everything else that goes along with mixed martial arts right after you just get done with college? Because you just graduated about what, 2 years ago, was it?
Yeah, 2018.
Yes. What was it like, in that short gap from 2018 to now learning everything?
Awesome. Easy. I mean, I have my head coach from back home in Johnstown or Pittsburgh, Isaac Greeley. He runs Matt Factory Wrestling Club, Black Belt Jiu Jitsu. He also wrestled at UPJ. He's a national runner-up. Uh, the day that I won nationals, like that night, I texted him. Like when can we start training? And we got right to it. Literally, I think I started training that week after I won nationals, jiu-jitsu. He hooked me up with Taekwondo coach Philip Amaris, boxing coach Matt Layshock, and just trained my butt off. And I loved it. This is what I wanted to do, so it wasn't very hard. And wrestling made it easy. You know.
Yeah, I say a lot of people say that if you have the wrestling background, it's the best thing for going into the sport of mixed martial arts. Would you agree with that? That having that wrestling pedigree helps out a lot?
100%. 100%. I mean, I already have like maybe the biggest or the most important skill set down pat. Obviously, it's different. MMA wrestling is different, but it translates pretty easily. And I'm obsessed with the sport, so it's really easy for me to translate that stuff.
All right, now let's get into the main reason why we're here. It's the Bellator signing of yours. So why don't you tell everybody why did you choose Bellator?
Um, I don't know. They offered me a good contract, and it's one of the best promotions. I have a lot of friends fighting in Bellator back home. A lot of people here at ATT fight for Bellator. They have a lot of good things to say about the organization is run, how they treat fighters, and it just made sense for me. I'm 0-0. I've been wanting to get a professional fight. Now I have Bellator, an amazing promotion, offering me a contract, guaranteeing me fights, and paying me for it. So, of course, it just made sense to me to build myself up from the start, 0-0, and go from there.
So one of the things that I like that Bellator does is they kind of, they don't push you guys too far. As you were saying there, you have an 0-0 record. You're about to make your professional debut. Have they laid out a plan for you as to how they want you to approach your pro career? Because Bellator isn't a promotion that's going to be like, okay, here you go, you're a new signee, go ahead and fight the number 3 ranked guy in the world.
Yeah, like I said, like in my head, I'm ready to fight anybody. But I'm just gonna leave that up to my managers, my coaches, Bellator. I'm sure they want to build me up responsibly. So, whatever, my coach Mike Brown, my managers, Bellator, whoever they think is good for me to fight, I'm gonna fight. And I think it's gonna move fast, honestly. A couple fights that are like building up fights, maybe. But I'm ready to get in there and start getting after it. So.
And we're looking forward to seeing that. And another thing I want to ask you about, and you just referenced it a little bit in your last two answers there, is American Top Team down there in Coconut Creek, Florida. I know you just mentioned that you work with Mike Brown. What's it like for you working with arguably the best gym in the whole entire country, especially with Mike Brown, who's an award-winning mixed martial arts coach?
Yeah, best coach in MMA, I think. It's amazing. I'm surrounded by guys that this is their passion. Some of the best coaches in the world, the best training partners. I live in the gym right now. I literally live upstairs in American Top Team. So I wake up, I make coffee, I go downstairs, train, chill out of my room, watch fights, go train again. And I have Mike Brown, who like is kind of like me. We're thinking about fighting all the time, watching fights all the time. So I work a lot with him. It's made a huge difference. And the gains I've made just in the last couple of months are really exciting. Like I feel like I can get so good so fast here in the next year or so.
And then I've also seen on your Instagram you've done work with Jorge Masvidal, Dustin Poirier, Pedro Munoz. You're literally right there working with the best of the best. So how have those guys and other fighters too that I just didn't name there, because I know there's so many of them down there at ATT. How have those guys helped you with your career?
Yeah, tremendously. I mean, I'm literally sparring with and drilling with and learning from some of the best guys in their weight class in the world. Pedro's a top guy in his weight class. Marlon Moraes, top guy in his weight class. George, Dustin, all those guys are top guys. George has helped me out a lot. He's spending a lot of time, even after his last fight with Usman. He's coming in for me on his own time, sparring with me and drilling with me and giving me advice, and even outside of fighting, like advice on business and stuff. So it's been amazing for me. There's no way I can't be the best and improve whenever I'm training with those kind of guys every day.
Yeah, I hear you there, and it's great that you get that opportunity to train with those guys. Like we were just saying before, ATT, one of the best gyms in the world. And speaking before, we were talking about Pennsylvania wrestling. Now we're talking about ATT. I know Dan Lambert recently made an announcement. There's plans to open up an ATT gym in State College for guys that are good wrestlers like yourself to make that transition period. Can you just tell us maybe a little bit about where things are with that, and if you plan on being involved with that, being that you're a Pennsylvania guy and a wrestler?
Yeah, I mean, I love State College. I would love to be there. It's just, I don't know. I think it's not even, it's just getting started maybe. One of my really good friends, Bo, is kind of in charge of that, Bo Nickel. Like he's going to be heavily involved with that. And I'd love to spend time there. It just depends on like if Mike Brown and Coach Smocko and all these guys are going to be traveling to State College. Maybe I will go there and train there a little bit and then come back when they come back. But um, I don't know. We'll see.
And I'm going to throw a Bo Nickel question at you too. Bo Nickel, for anyone that doesn't know, one of the best college wrestlers of all time, just had a fantastic career at Penn State, won a few national championships. Bo's in the middle of training for the Olympics. After the Olympics, then he's going to make that transition to mixed martial arts. But have you talked about it all recently, and how's the training and preparation for what's now going to be the 2021 Olympic Games going?
Yeah, I mean, I talked to Bo a good bit. He's training hard. I mean, he's ready. He's a competitor. He wants to be the best, and I think he's gonna do awesome. And then whenever it's time for him to fight, he's gonna surprise a lot. Maybe not surprise. Maybe people already have high expectations for him, but he's gonna be awesome.
All right, Cody, it's been a lot of fun talking to you. Before I let you get going, though, just go ahead. You want to plug your social media, management, sponsors, anything like that? Floor is yours.
Yeah, social media: Cody Law, MMA, um, American Top Team, First Round Management, my gym back home, Matt Factory Wrestling Club, Taekwondo, Ameris, Southside Boxing. Thank you.
And there you have it. That was Cody Law. Cody, we appreciate the time that you just gave us. And before I sign off, as always, I just want to remind everybody, keep checking out My MMA News, all the great content that we put out, and all of our kick-ass interviews that we do every single day, or just about every single day. And as always, we appreciate the time, and we appreciate you guys checking out all of our work. And until next time, we'll see you later, everyone.